Hello everyone, today we're gonna talk about time zones in China. Before that, let's first touch on what time zones are. So the Earth is divided into 24 time zones, one for every hour of the day. The prime meridian, or the Greenwich meridian, lies in the middle of the zero time zone in Chinese 零时区. For every time zone going east, you add an hour. So for example, 东一区, which in Chinese is East Zone 1, you basically add 1 hour to the Greenwich Mean Time. Beijing Time is 东八区, literally East 8 Zone. So basically you add 8 hours to the GMT, the Greenwich Mean Time. So Beijing is in 东八区, the East 8 Zone, but is China all in the same time zone? Apparently not. China actually spans across 5 different time zones. It's a big country, but as a country, China only uses Beijing time as the only one official time. Before 1949, China actually used the international division of time zones, and I think divided the country into 4 different time zones. Pretty much like how we do it in the US. You have Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. But after 1949, China decided that it's just more beneficial for the countries to use Beijing time as the only one official time. So I'm from a city near Beijing, so I just take it for granted that Beijing time is China's official time, and you don't really give it a second thought. But now that I think about it, people, if you live in the West, in the western part of China, using Beijing time, which is like 3-4 hours ahead of you, it may not be convenient, or you have to, I guess you have to get used to it. In the previous episode, I was talking about the East Coast bias in the US, which just simply means the sports events and TV programs, they are scheduled and broadcasted in favor of the schedule of the audience on the East Coast instead of people who live on the West Coast, like California or Washington. So for example, the NBA final is scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. Pacific Time, like in California. So for people on the East Coast, it's very convenient. 9 p.m. On a weekend, it's perfect. But for people on the West Coast, it may be a little inconvenient because 6 is a little too early. You probably are still eating your dinner. You're not all set for the game. So I guess the same is probably true for people live in China's western part. So if China is so big and it covers 5 different time zones, why doesn't it learn from the US and just divide the country into 4 or 5 different time zones? I think the most important reason is that the vast majority of China's population, I would say about 95% of China's whole population, live in the eastern part of China. So it sort of makes sense to favor the majority when they decide which time they want to use. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening. Bye.